Hey guys, so I was messing around earlier, I was looking through some old posts on the Neurohop forum and things, and I sort of picked up on a few little things to make bass sounds sort of in a more simple way, I guess, without having to well, I still resampled it, but I didn't go through the whole process of putting it through a sampler, and I basically just um, started off with the basic how I wanted it to sound to begin with, and just developed it as I went along, if that makes any sense. So I'll just play you what I have quickly. So I was kind of going for a bit of a mix between some noisier stuff and some of Koan sounds stuff as well. Um, doesn't really sound like either, but it's got elements of both of those kind of sounds in there, I guess. Um, I'm kind of happy with how it turned out. I didn't spend that long on it. If I worked on it a bit longer, I could get it sounding how I want it to sound. But yeah, I didn't really spend that long, and the drums are mixed terribly. I'll just play you what the drums sound like by themselves quickly. Sounds pretty crappy by itself. The reason some of it sounds kind of out of time was because I kind of used the drums to accentuate the movement in the bass sound instead of I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, I'm gonna show you how I made that anyway. It's actually really simple. Um, I'll be putting the I'll make this a rack, and I'll put it up for download, but it's pretty much just operator with an effects chain after it, and I just did some more effects here basically. So basically what I did was I just started with this first oscillator. It's actually a really simple patch, and I just drew in whatever this waveform is. Just drew in some random harmonics. I had no idea what to expect when I started. It kind of just, I wasn't trying to achieve anything to begin with, but once I sort of realized that it was starting to sound a bit closer to sounds that I'd heard before, I tried to sort of force it to sound a bit more like that. So yeah, I started off with this. Not much I can really say about that apart from just draw some random shapes to begin with, I guess. You'll once you've got a bit more used to doing FM stuff, you kind of pick up what's gonna sound good and what won't sound good quite quickly. So then I went onto this oscillator and just drew in some more random stuff. And I assigned this oscillator B level to this macro here, so I could automate it, which you can see here. This is the automation for it. That was pretty random. I just did it to whatever I thought sounded good at the time. I'll play you all the stages. So this is what just the oscillator A sounds like by itself. And I'll turn all this stuff off. you'll notice that I have the pitch envelope on, and the initial value is plus 48 semitones, and I've like set a macro for the decay time as well. It also has glide on, and I set the time to 200 milliseconds. So yeah, that's what it sounds like with just this first oscillator. Then this is the second oscillator. This is what it sounds like with this automation as well. Just to let you know, I didn't do this, or like I made the sound first. So like I made a sound that I thought sounded quite good, and then I automated it afterwards. I didn't just like draw this in and start automating it straight away. That's why it sounds like pretty crappy by itself. Just sounds kind of weird like that. Then I drew some more random stuff in here and automated this as well. That's this automation here. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. So this is what it sounds like with A, B, and C with the automation for B and C. Yeah, and then I did the same thing again, like macroed this to another dial. I don't have an automation lane for that one, so I'll just make a new one. Didn't really automate this one that much, it was just to add like a bit more texture. So it sounds pretty crap by itself, like without all there's not that much filtering going on, to be honest. Most of the movement is just from the FM automation. But yeah, then I'm pretty sure I put the amp on first and put the saturator on afterwards, but I'll just do everything in order because I don't think it really matters. So the saturator is set, the drive is set to 4.57 decibels. Soft clipping is turned on. The depth is 24. The width is at 100%, and the frequency is at 1.87 kilohertz. And I haven't automated this time. I just used it to like make it more gritty sounding. Compared to so it just adds a bit of distortion basically. Then I have this amp. It's just set to the blues setting, and I turn the dry wet down to 24.6%. That sounded like this. Okay, then I just did some notch filtering to add more movement into it. Like I said, I didn't really filter this one that much at all. I did a bit more filtering later on to get like some like differences in some of the sounds, to like vary it a bit, I guess. So I basically just did random automation with this. I don't think I really paid too much attention to what I was doing, so it sounded like this. One thing that I can say is like you'll notice like these parts are kind of like exaggerated. Like I only really do that kind of thing at the end of phrases because a lot of the time like when you really exaggerate filter movement like that, it's not so bad with notch filtering. But like, say if you have like a bandpass and you like decide to do like really crazy like really crazy stuff. A lot of the time, like I find if you go too high or too low, it just like ends up sounding like crap. But like sometimes that kind of works for like the end of phrases and things, because it's more like you can sort of use that to make it feel like it's like more like it's being like dragged into the next bar or whatever. Probably not explaining that very well, but I'll do another video about that kind of stuff. Then I just compressed it. The usual settings: ratio up to 10, release up to 1.2, attack to 0.1, and soft clipping turned on, and I just turned the makeup up to 6.35 decibels. And that was literally just compression, so there's not much of a difference in the sound. So yeah, that's what the initial patch sounded like. And I'm gonna just put all of this stuff in this instrument rack, and I will rename this so you'll be able to download this from the like there'll be a link for it in the description. I can't really do anything about the rest of these effects and things, but like I'll try and walk you through it as well as I can, so you can like finish the process like I did. So then I just like bounced it down to audio. Yeah, so basically I just chopped it up a bit, and you'll notice I have this separate audio track here with like slight difference in the effects chain. So I literally, this is like the main sort of part of the sound, and then these are just like, these just have a bit of extra filter movement basically to make it sound more like vowely or vocally, I guess, with the bandpass filter. And I basically just like, so I just threw this amp on it, just because I wanted it to be a bit more gritty. I just set it to the rock setting and set the dry wet to 6.35, and then like I sort of thought that it kind of muddied up, well, not muddied up the sound a bit, but it sort of it was lacking some of these frequencies, I guess. One thing I can say about chopping this up is like it's mostly just down to preference and stuff, but I did put a fade whenever either the kick or the snare hits, so that the sound just gets pushed out of the way. So the transients from the kick and snare like push through the mix, because I find that really makes a big difference with how much impact that your bass patch has. It's more about like the initial hit of the drums rather than the initial hit of the actual bass patch. So yeah, I basically just like ramped up this part in an EQ to make it sound a bit more like this. It's not a huge difference, but I feel like it kind of, like it was missing something in that frequency range, I guess. And then this part, this is pretty much the same. Like it's pretty much the same amp setting. It's just got a bit more. Um, it's like the dry wet is set to 7.14 instead of 6.35. And I didn't bother EQing this one because I was just I wanted the filter movement more than anything. So I basically just have a chain with a band pass and a low pass, and I started off with just the band pass. So like I started off just by making this automation here. But I felt like it was lacking way too much of the highs, so I like put a low pass in a separate chain and just automated that a little. I think yeah, I only automated that on this part. I didn't automate it on this part. So I basically just used the low pass to like keep the highs in there and sort of balance it out a bit. But I have turned the low pass down by 3 decibels. So it did sound like this. And the low pass made it sound like this. So like this one's a lot more growly than these ones, I guess. These are more like a standard like Reese sound, and this one's more like a growl. So then this part's pretty much the same. It's just got slightly different in fact, the automation for the band pass is the same. I just like automated this low pass as well, so it sounds like this. The reason it sounds different is because I used the part of the I used this part of the MIDI clip basically instead of this part here. That's why it sounds kind of different, even though it's got the same automation for the band pass. So yeah, that's all I did for that part. Then what I did was I bounced it down again. All into I used the resampling input, whatever you want to call it, and I recorded both of these out into the one audio one audio file. Like I just did that so it was a bit easier to work with. And then what I did was okay, so I started just by putting a chorus on there. I'll just turn these off quickly because I wanted it to be a bit wider sounding. So with the chorus, I didn't automate anything on the chorus. I just set it to 31% dry wet, and that's literally all I did with it. I just well, the amount is 3.43 and the rate is 0.03. Like that's quite standard thing that I do, I guess, like just to add a little bit of width without affecting the sound too much. So the chorus sounded like this. Oh, I just need to, yeah. So there's not a huge difference there, but like it just made it a bit wider sounding. Then I added this phaser into a separate chain, and I automated the well, first I set the dry wet to 23.8, and then I just did random automation for the frequency and feedback. I didn't really pay any attention to what I was doing at all. I just wanted it to sort of be a bit weirder sounding, I guess, just have a bit more movement in it. And I literally just like randomly did that, like, so I can't really tell you much about the technique. Just mess around with it and you'll get something that sounds good. So the phaser and the chorus together sound like this. Okay, and then what I did was I actually I actually put this reverb on there before I did the flanger. Um, Reverb's pretty standard. I just set the quality to high, turned all of these off. The decay time is set to 1.07 seconds, and the size is set to 100, and I didn't change anything else. I did that just to give it a bit more like atmosphere, I guess, like make it sound a bit darker. Like a lot of the time I'll use this I'd use I'd use the convolution reverb, but I thought I'd do it with the standard reverb just for the tutorial's sake. And like, to be honest, I don't think it would have sounded much better using the convolution reverb anyway. I think it sounded pretty good with just the normal reverb. So yeah, that was just to add a bit more character to it, like make it sound a bit more dark and stuff. And then I decided to just throw a flanger on before the reverb, just to give it a bit more movement again. Turn the dry wet to 38.9%. Feedback set to 0.38. The delay time is set to 2.04 milliseconds. And I didn't mess with any of the LFO settings or anything else really. It was pretty standard. So that made it sound like this. Okay, and then that's everything for this part. Then what I did was I just bounced it down to audio again. I'll leave the drums off for now. And just put a compressor on it again, same settings as before. And I just started chopping it up. Literally, that's all I did here. I just like sort of made these fades a bit more dramatic and sort of messed around with the arrangement a bit, and it sort of turned into this. Doesn't really sound as good without the drums, even though the drums sound like crap. But the drums are kind of what like really brings out the rhythm in it, I guess, and kind of like it's quite like a rhythmic sound. Well, like it's interpreted as quite a rhythmic sound, I guess. Like it's more about like the relationship between the drums and the bass sound, I guess, with this style of stuff anyway. Like it's not just about either of them, it's like how they work together, I guess. So yeah, that's how I ended up with this. So yeah, don't really know what else to say about it. I could probably, like with the, so when I was like chopping this stuff up, like I basically just, it's kind of like hit and miss. Like sometimes it, most of the time it's just like happy accidents, I guess. So like maybe like, okay, so this part doesn't sound quite as interesting as other parts in it, like in my opinion. So what I might do for the arrangement side of it is, I guess it's like different every time. It just kind of depends on what's going on and stuff, but I might like cut that part, maybe reverse this. No, that sounds like crap. So I could like drag this back here and then turn looping on and find something that I like in here. I'll turn the fixed grid off because you get some movement that you don't really expect to happen if you don't set it to a fixed grid. Don't really like that part. I might even like cut this part, like move this part as well, maybe. Might like chop this here. Might move that part a bit as well. Oh, not triplet grid. No. Reversing it can be really effective sometimes. Like sometimes I'll even like throw another filter on there and just turn it on for certain parts. Maybe do like a high pass or something. Also, I don't really like this part, like how I've chopped that up there, so I might like, what am I doing? What I might do instead would maybe like, well, just, wait, let's see what it sounds like without anything. I think it could sound cool with maybe just a snare hit. Maybe like 2 snare hits. Maybe not. A water sample could work quite well. I'm just like messing around now. This isn't really part of the tutorial anymore, but I thought I might as well carry on with I like these drip sounds. I think that part could be a bit cooler sounding, so I might like reverse it again and just scrub through here. That sounds pretty crazy. I might like turn that down a bit. I guess I'll leave it there for today. Yeah, I'll probably do some more tutorials like this, more like just basic, like building it up layer by layer, not doing the whole like sampler thing. So yeah, hope you guys found it helpful, and yeah, like my Facebook page and stuff if you want, and all that stuff. I'm really bad at promoting myself. Comment on the video if you want to, like, if you have any recommendations for like things that you want me to do, and like any questions you have or anything, just feel free to ask. I want to kind of be as helpful as possible, because I used to get really annoyed with not being able to find all the information that I wanted to know about what I was trying to achieve, I guess. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later.